Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, where Joshua is at the Letna Stadium over in Prague. We're joined also by Chris Jack as we react to the Rangers team, which is just about to drop ahead of tonight's Europa League clash against Sparta Prague. We'll come to Joshua firstly. He's in the ground right now. Joshua, how's your day been? You're telling me off air that you've had a bit of a food disaster, perhaps. Not much on the menu in the stadium.
Well, Chris you'll both testify to this, that quite often when you go away to a European game, there's a nice little spread on of some description. So I took the gamble and thought, I had a big breakfast, a kind of lunch, and I'm not going to eat until I get to the stadium, and the options are limited, Derek. So hopefully my blood sugars can sustain me through the evening. But good day. The stadium, there's videos of it on social media. Rangers fans just starting to come in to my left as well. Quite small, quite compact. We're right up quite high in the stadium, the Letna Stadium, as you say. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what the team is, and if Clement's side can either build on Saturday or kind of come back down to earth, and hopefully it's going to be the former.
Yeah, Chris, me and you were talking about the potential team this morning. It would be interesting to see who's going to start at left back. And I had Scott Wright in my lineup. You've got Ryan Jack in there. Still going with that? Still feel that you'll have a sort of more solid midfield base heading into this one?
Very much prepared to be proven wrong in the next 90 seconds. No doubt, as we answer this question, the team will finally drop on the UEFA channel. So I'm prepared to be wrong. So I'll not overcommit myself just yet. But I think it's, as we said this morning, Derek, there's some positions that obviously pick themselves in terms of some players who have to be in there on form. There's obviously other positions in that side that are not ideal, and left back certainly falls into that particular category. So I think the main thing, no matter which side actually takes the pitch tonight, it's a match that Rangers have to win. May not have to win in terms of qualifying, but I think one they have to take
at least a point.
They have to take something from, and if they can win, as we said this morning, what a huge boost it just gives the manager once again. It really just keeps things ticking over. It'd be a really impressive result to go over there and get just over a week into his reign as manager. So fingers crossed that it can be done regardless of what that side actually looks like tonight.
Yeah, a few comments coming in. Joshua, before we go to those, me and Chris obviously discussed our team this morning. You had Sam Lammers in your starting lineup before it gets announced. Explain that one.
Yeah, no, I seen you set me up for some heat on social media with that one. But listen, I think that I think there's a bit of misunderstanding sometimes with Cantwell's positioning, because he is a number 10, but I guess in different games. Take the game of the weekend, he makes that assist and the chance before that. He does that all before he's at the number 10 position. It's not to say if he starts on the right, when Rangers have the ball, he's going to be by the right touchline. Tavernier is going to be the one who's higher there, and Cantwell. Sometimes, arguably, that can work just as much to his benefit, because he's moving into a position as opposed to maybe being up against a direct number 6 if he's the number 10. I think it could well be him there. The reason I went for Lammers and Dessers is I think that Clement might look at the Saturday's performance and want to stick with as much continuity as he possibly can. I don't think Lammers had a brilliant game. I don't think he had a terrible game. Wins the ball back for the second goal. They're heavily involved. Obviously plays the pass for the third goal that Dessers doesn't finish. But I think off the ball, both of them were good. And again, don't take it from me, take it from Clement. He said that the defending from the front end of the pitch, he picked that out as one of the key areas for Rangers' performance. So I went for the two changes, being Davies to come in at left back and Cantwell to come in for right. Could also feasibly see it being Scott Wright on the right-hand side, playing a similar role he did at the weekend with Cantwell in that number 10 position behind Dessers as well. Or we could see Ryan Jack come in, but then maybe the Rangers change their shape somewhat. Remains to be seen. I just think that Clement might be, and again, like Chris, probably be proven wrong in about 10 seconds. But I think he might look at Saturday's performance and want to kind of minimise the changes as much as possible.
Yeah, nice comment from King Bonko. He says, smash the like button and subscribe. Keep the page going. Great content. Always a good listen. Thank you very much for your kind words, buddy. Chris McFarlane says, never been this excited about a left back position announcement. You and me both, Chris. Joshua, of course, has been out in Prague for some time. Iron Blue says Joshua's been out there since last Christmas. He's been. You spent a few days in Prague, Joshua. You've enjoyed it though. Your stay out there, your extended stay. It's a lovely city, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll testify that I've not been skiving too much, Derek. But obviously, normally you'd come out a couple of days before. Circumstance had it so that this was a little bit different. But it's been nice to see a bit of the city. In amongst obviously a bit of work as well, but great place. If you haven't come to Prague, I would definitely recommend that you do it at some point. But back home tomorrow, back to reality tomorrow morning, Derek.
Yeah, Aldo with the point, Joshua. He says, what's the numbers looking like on the Rangers fan side, Josh? We're expecting, what are we expecting in the ground? What was the allocation, 1,300 or something like that?
I want to say 1,200. There's a good few in already to my left, kind of to the left of the tunnel. Good numbers of Rangers fans in the city today as well. Sure, they will be make themselves heard throughout the game. So I think it's about the 1,000 mark, Derek. I don't know if that includes some hospitality tickets as well. It's always hard to know with these types of numbers. But I think there'll be about 1,000 in the kind of left hand pocket of the stadium.
Yeah, Christopher Ogg says the beer is cheap, just don't buy wine. So there's a bit of advice if you're in Prague, guys. I'm sure the wine's pretty good over there as well, but I'm sure that's been a personal reflection there, Chris. Just to deviate slightly, Chris, a bit of news while we await for the team's world's greatest DJ with the point here saying Souness close to agreeing a role at Ibrox. Of course, he was on Talk Sport earlier. Gave a lot of information out with regards to the managerial process that has just happened and says he's close to joining Rangers and explained that the sort of role that he'll be taking part in. It's a sort of consulting role he's going to help the club with. He said, I'm not sure it's a senior advisory role. It's more of a consultant ambassador, but I'm a Rangers supporter. I had the chance to go back early season and I didn't feel the job description was right for me, but I'd love to help them. I want them to be successful again. I want them to be top of the league. I want them to be top of the Scottish game and do well in Europe going forward. He also said that there were two outstanding candidates for the managerial position, Frank Lampard and Philippe. The final say wasn't with me. For me, Frank had the edge because of this. Frank, I think, has still got a great deal to offer. Taking the Chelsea job when he did was always going to be very, very difficult. The Everton job is a basket case, and have they improved since Frank left? Not a bit. So I wouldn't be too critical of Frank. The thing that encouraged me about Frank is that he wanted to do it. He doesn't need the money. He wants to be a successful manager, and he fancied the Rangers job. What do you make of the comments from Graham Souness? I've seen a sort of differing reactions on social media to them saying that he should have kept that private and in-house, and some feeling that they would welcome Graham Souness back to Rangers to help out. What's your feeling on the matter, Chris?
I think having someone of Graham's stature, having someone of Graham's experience in and around the club again can only be a good thing. It's something we spoke about after the managerial process came to an end. He also played a big part in that. Interesting that he saw Clement and Frank Lampard as the two rather than as was widely known. It came down to Clement and Kevin Muscat. So there's clearly something in Kevin Muscat's interview that didn't strike the right chord with Graham Souness. But he was there to give an experienced point of view. He was there to give a bit of insight into life as player and as a manager. I think the view of the support at the time was that Frank Lampard wasn't the man that they fancied. I don't think there'd be many that would have taken Lampard over Clement. So I think in that regard, they're perhaps pleased that Graham didn't get his way, but he was only there to give an opinion. Now the board can either back that opinion, they can take it and they can run with it, or they can say thank you, and we appreciate everything that you brought to this process. We are going to go and appoint Clement as they did. So I don't think because there's a differing opinion there that it's a bad thing. And going forward, having someone off his standing in the game can only be a good thing. There's a lack of former club employees, there's a lack of former managers and players round about the place. That's something I think the club do have to build back up once again. And having someone of that standing in the game is certainly no bad thing. I'm pleased it's not as director of football. I'm pleased it's not a more formal football structure type role. I don't think that'd be right. That probably impinges too much on Clement. But just as a sounding board, as someone you can pick up the phone to and say, look, can you go and put a bit of work in on any particular project? Can we get your advice on this, that, or the next thing? I don't see the negative.
Yeah, I'll get your view, Joshua. There's differing views coming in on it as well. Boo is, hopefully that's how you pronounce your username. Buddy says, I'm doubtful on having guys like Souness making decisions. Legend, no doubt, but very outdated. Pacer says Souness was always outspoken, and G. Webster saying love Souness's honesty. Would you be opposed to Graham Souness get involved? I know we helped out in the managerial process, but as part of a consultant sort of role, would you be happy with that, Joshua?
We'll come back to that because the team is here, and Derek.
Wow,
I think the first time in my life, I think I've got 11 out of 11. So it's Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Goldson, Davies, Lundstrom, Cantwell, Raskin, Seema, Lammers, and Bessers. So yeah, as I say, I think that's the first time I've picked it correctly all season. So that's a rare one. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I guess we can get into talk about the specifics. But it looks like it will be a similar setup to the weekend with Cantwell coming in and Davies. The wait to find out who Rangers standing left back ends, and Ben Davies is the one to replace Borna Barisic.
Chris, your reaction to that team, Sam? We both never had Sam Lammers in that 11. It's a very offensive-looking 11, I've got to say. What's your thoughts on it?
Just showing why we send Josh on the big tips. Now he's the man on the inside line, the man that clearly knows what he's talking about. That's why we're stuck at home and we're getting a dead rubber in Seville at the end of this group stage, Derek. No, I don't think I've ever picked a 1 to 11 and all the in the short time that I've been fortunate to be working with you boys. I don't think I've ever had a 1 to 11 correct. So I'm sure my time is coming. But personally, I wouldn't have had Sam Lammers in there, but I can understand why it's happened. I think that left back role, as we discussed this morning, Derek, it had to be Ben Davies. I would have been surprised if it had been anywhere else. No, I think it's an encouraging side. It's clearly one the manager feels can go and win the game. It's not just a containing job to go and try and get a point. He clearly feels that there's enough there at the weekend to think, let's go again with this now. Let's go again with the same squad, with the same attack. So fingers crossed. It bodes for an attacking Rangers performance rather than one that's just there to try to grind it out and get a point. And if it can go and get a win, as we said earlier on, what a start to life at Ibrox it's been for Philippe Clement.
Yeah, gallant pioneer, says Josh inside Ibrox. It does look a bit like the backdrop of Ibrox. I've got to say, Joshua. But Chris McFarlane with the point. We playing a 4-3-3 tonight. Do you think that's what it'll be?
I think it'll be. I'm going to see if I can find the passing network from Saturday, Derek, because I think that will. I'll try and find it when Chris is speaking, but I think that will kind of show what Rangers will do. I think it'll be a similar setup whereby Davies will come in, but Rangers will build play more frequently on the right-hand side. Davies will probably sit deeper. I don't imagine he'll overlap that much, but I think he's good enough on the ball to play in that position. We spoke about it yesterday, Derek. All around world football, you look at Man City or Arsenal playing a centre-half at full-back, because, again, in modern football, I guess they're meant to be so mobile anyway. I don't think that should be too much of an issue in theories. Davies, I don't think he's lightning quick, but he's quite an agile defender. He's not someone who you look at and you think he's going to... he's not obviously slow, so I think it makes sense to play him there. Campbell, as mentioned, I think it'll be Lammers in a front two. Off the ball, it'll be a 4-4-2. On the ball, you'll see Tavernier play wide, which will allow Campbell the freedom to go and get on the ball. Maybe starts at number 10 and it's Lammers from that position on the right. We've seen him do that as well. But I think it'll give you that'll be where the kind of 2-3 roles are. And I think it's a perfect example, if you can hear me over the tannoy, of Clement. Yep. I think with his setup and with what he's doing, he's not completely ripping up what Michael Beale did and what this squad is built to do. He's putting his own stamp on it. Yeah, and Saturday was a lot better. But Lammers and Lammers and Campbell in particular, I think they'll play in a similar kind of role as to what they have in those kind of 3 roles behind the striker from the right-hand side tonight.
Yeah. The substitutes bench, incidentally, there's a few comments coming in, is McCrory, Kieran Wright, Jack King, Scott Wright, Devine, McCausland, Fraser, Lyle, McKinnon and Danilo. That is a very youthful-looking bench, Chris.
It certainly is. I wrote at the weekend about how the bench was looking a bit better and how that was a positive for the manager because there was then options. You obviously you lose a couple of players from that, and you lose a lot of experience from that. So if you're looking for a game changer or a match winner from the bench, it's come on down Danilo, because apart from that, there's not a lot there. I'd be surprised if you get the situation where you're throwing on Ryan Jack and Scott Wright to turn the game in a positive way for Rangers. The flip side to that is a great experience for the youngsters in that squad. So Ross McCausland's been in and around it in the last few weeks. Fraser, Lyle, McKinnon, a great time for them to be on the trip, a great experience for them to get in the squad and get that taste of European action. But it's difficult to see how they're going to have any impact on the game. If it's going really, really well and you can get one of them the last 10 minutes, great. But I don't think we'll be seeing that much of them over the course of 90 minutes.
Yeah, let me get the team up, folks, that Rangers will be lining up with. In fact, maybe Joshua can do that in the background. I think I did have it, but I'll have to change it for the screen.
While you're doing that, I've got this pass network, which I think shows kind of what shape Rangers will play. So you see, if you look at the position of, take Scott Wright's position, obviously it's Campbell who comes into play next to Lammers tonight, but you can see that Wright's a lot more narrow than Sima. This is a little bit skewed because Barris's obviously came off the pitch after about 10-15 minutes. But you can see there's a difference in the way that Rangers attack on the right to the left. They have that extra man on the right. They were quite direct in how they tried to build play at the weekend. You've also got the option of Sima's pace over the top. If Rangers build play predominantly on the right, also allows Sima to become that second striker alongside Dessers as well. But I don't think it'll be Cantwell. He won't be playing into the touchline as Sima is in this example. He could be the one that starts off with Dessers, but it will be, I think, if you look how close Lammers and Wright in this example are to Dessers, I think that will be what a similar setup we see tonight compared to the weekend, with Raskin on the left side of midfield, Lundstrom on the right. And again, you look at Raskin and Suter, they're both right-footed players as well. Everything suggests Rangers are going to have a similar kind of game plan, direct their attack toward the right, try and create the free man in there, whether that be Lammers or Cantwell, and try and get Sima as much as possible high up the pitch next to Dessers, running in behind, because he's obviously the man in form. Coming back to the city where he kind of made his name as a footballer, hopefully can put in a good performance tonight. Yeah, absolutely. This is the team incident. I know Colin Cooper is asking me to stick it up on the screen. So this is the Rangers 11, Colin and everyone else. That is how Rangers will line up this evening. Butland, Tavernier, Golson, Suter, Davis, Raskin, Lundstrom, Lammers, Cantwell, Dessers and Sima. So Rangers going up against Sparta Prague this evening. I'll try and bring you up the Sparta team. Not that... apologies if you do follow Czech football, but I'm sure that not many of you, including me, will be familiar with some of the names here. But it's Vindal, Preciado, Karinen, Kusha, Karabec, Biramanjevic, Lache, Sorensen, Panak, Reines and Vitek. So that is how Sparta Prague will line up this evening. As ever, at full time, Joshua will head off and speak to Philip Clement and the players in the mix zone. After that, we'll be on post-match to discuss what we hope will be a Rangers victory this evening and taking a big step towards Europa League qualification. So huge thanks to everyone for interacting with the show. As ever, it is greatly appreciated. Thanks to Chris and Joshua. I'll get score prediction for you, Joshua. Me and Chris are going 2-1 Rangers. What are you going for? I'll be more pessimistic and I'll say 1-1, but hopefully they can kind of continue from where they left off the weekend. As Chris says, I don't think a win is essential. It'd be nice, but I don't think if they don't win tonight, they're not going to go through. I think if they were to lose tonight, though, it would make the next three games very difficult. So I think they need the result. I'll say 1-1. Hope I'm wrong and you two are right. Yeah, okie dokie. Right, folks, we'll speak to you a little later on. Enjoy the game and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.